The following program may be explicit.
And he's a laser-bladed hero, a big white castanet. And if you don't deny so, he makes a standing debt. Don't forget about his factory, family, and more. And this is his last day. Oh, that's just how the story goes.
You're listening to Happy Jack's RPG Podcast, pursuing the RPG hobby with reckless abandon and beer.
Well, hello, and welcome to Season 21, Episode 1 of Happy Jack's RPG Podcast. My name is Stu.
This is Tappy.
This is Gina.
I'm Joey.
It's Tappy.
Hey, everybody. Long time no see.
Where have you been?
I have been in a 4-year-long Fallout 4 LARP. Basically.
The deprogramming worked okay?
Yeah. I spent about 4 years out in a experimental, sustainable, habitable art installation. That's called East Jesus. It's a term for the middle of nowhere. It's part of Slab City, which is a homeless encampment down by the southeastern shore of the Salton Sea, where there's absolutely nothing except for the hobos.
Yeah.
No running water?
No running water. Nope.
Whoa.
So it really taught me a lot about, how an encampment would work in a post-apocalyptic setting. Mm-hmm. So, you have these 5 things, well, really 6 things in a fantasy, well, not fantasy, but a Fallout 4 setting, and that'd be power, clean water, food security, habitation, and sanitation. Mm-hmm. You need to meet all of those 5 things. Those are always on your mind. And the 6th one is physical security.
Right.
So that's the people with guns.
Right.
I had to do that a couple times. I did get shot at once, but
they missed.
Excellent. So it was good.
Yeah, that's good.
But like power, how you generate power and everything is, that's a big problem, because having power makes a whole lot of other things super easy, like education,
Food security.
Super important. When we first got there, they were using coolers, and so we ended up getting we upped the power system so that we could have these 2 chest freezers. Mm-hmm. One is a freezer, and the other is a refrigerator. Okay. Because a refrigerator chest freezer runs on 0.8 amps, as opposed to a regular refrigerator that runs on 5.
Well, that makes sense, because
Really?
When you open it,
Mm-hmm. And also chest
heat
freezers
rises,
are
so if it
super,
opens,
super,
Yeah.
yeah. So
My
stuff like
parents
that.
had one of those.
It also makes me just kind of get annoyed at games like Fallout 4, and they make it so fucking easy. Mm-hmm. We'll just build this thing right here. Oh, no problem. 2nd level, no sweat.
You're like, no.
Yeah. No. But so learning how to make explosive targets and doing Molotov cocktail skeet shooting.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Is awesome. That must be the best part, is you don't have to... we're going to go out shooting, and you just walk way out and just go shooting. And
discharging firearms in a non-urban environment turns out is really easy and not dangerous.
Right. So you have to go to the shooting range.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had a clothing optional shooting range. You can wear you need to wear the things that aren't optional are eye protection, ear protection, and closed-toed shoes.
Yes.
But the rest of it?
Everything else is up to you.
If you put a few magazines through like an AR, those rounds are going to come out hot.
Yes. And that's why not wearing clothes is important, because the only times you get burned is when it gets trapped between I'm fucking with my mic there.
Bounces.
Yeah, so it just bounces off you.
Oops.
And it doesn't have the chance to burn you.
Right.
So it really is for safety.
Okay.
Safety.
Excellent.
57th.
All right. In this episode of Happy Jack's RPG Podcast, our continuing GM tips, we'll be discussing Downtime role-playing. Sam in Lakewood asks for some adventure building advice. Yuho from Finland asks about letting players narrate successes. And Don in Pittsburgh asks about breaking in a new guy. But first, if you would like to email us.
Wait, wrong podcast.
I like these lights. They're warmer, but it's also harder to read.
It is.
if you'd like to email us, you can email us at happyjacksrpg@gmail.com. That's happyjacksrpg@gmail.com. We could use some more. We're on Twitter, happyjacksrpg, all one word. And we're also on Instagram, apparently. happyjacksrpg, all one word. And Facebook. You can just search for Facebook. And if you want to watch the show live, we do the show at 8 p.m. on Friday nights, Pacific time. And you can go to happyjacks.org/live. That's happyjacks.org/live. And there's the YouTube, or the Twitch video, and I think the Twitch chat is embedded on there as well. You can also watch us on YouTube if you want, happyjacks.org/YouTube, if you're more of a YouTube person, a YouTuber. And I think that's it. Oh, we got a gaming convention coming up, February 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th at the LAX Hilton Hotel. President's Day weekend, strategicon.net if you want information about that. We'll be there. We'll be doing a show on Saturday at 8 p.m., as we tend to do.
Do you have games in?
Yeah, I got a Traveler game.
Excellent.
I may make some pre-gens. I was thinking about, I want to give the players the opportunity to make a Mongoose Traveler character, but I was thinking about just having them go through a term, and then giving them like skill arrays they can just pick some skills off of to sort of fill out their characters, so we're not spending all 4 hours trying to make characters.
Are you basing the array on what class or what job they had?
Well, I'm probably going to use the what do they call those things? They have those skill packages where they say if you're going to have a merchant game, here's a skill package. If it's a mercenary game, here's a skill package. I'm thinking about doing it that way and having it like a limited number of them. So like here's 3 gun combats and here's 2 tactics.
Right. So it can't be like we all have guns but can do nothing else.
Right.
Sweet. I'm going to just throw away my game.
Right. I have very little hope of finishing that adventure because the adventure is basically they get into a place. Well, I won't say because that's spoiler. But it's one of those things that might really be a 2-session thing, but not necessarily. Depending on what kind of solution they come up with, they might be able to do it fast.
Be brave. Run 2 sessions.
I don't want to run 3 games. The other thing I'm running is it's called Arkandale. And it's the sort of like the scaled down moment of truth rules for kids.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to do character generation in that as well. That's why all my games are done.
That sounds awful.
It's point by and it's easy. It's really easy. So you basically say what you have 4 stats. What stat are you really good at? What stat are you good at? What stat are you okay at? And what are you not so good at? And then you put numbers down. 4, 3, 2, 1 for those. And then you roll a die, and if you roll 1, 2, 3, or 4, you pick which stat that it gets increased by 1. Or if you roll a 5 or a 6, because there's only 4 stats, you just pick which one you want to increase.
Oh, there you go.
And then skills, you get there's a limited number of skills. There's only like 15 skills in the game. Roughly.
Okay.
They're very general, but it's got the same dice pool mechanic, and there's magic. Magic is reasonably common, and there's like a few lists of spells. I'm going to make like spell cards that
spell cards are really helpful, especially on convention.
So I mean, I'm not expecting. It's a playtest. I've never playtested. I mean, I playtested the base game, so the mathematics of the rules should be fine, but it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Oh, definitely.
Awesome.
That should be fun. And that's it. And then I don't like running more than 2 games. I ran 3 once, and it gets a little hectic.
And running 2 games gets hectic.
Right. Then they have to get prep for the show.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to stream the show again live.
Oh, yeah?
Because I think Kimmy did it when she did GameX, the Maycon, which we're never at, or I'm never at.
Yeah.
But I think we're probably going to probably try to do that again.
It seemed like it worked well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably use my new laptop to stream out, because this thing is
fancy.
Yeah.
I think that's
Speaking of fancy. Jesus
know.
crazy.
Yeah, we've improved the digs.
Oh yeah.
No more
we were like
couch.
all shoved together in a closet.
Yeah, no more Civil War couch and yoga
the
ball.
Civil War couch.
Yeah.
That's now my daughter's bed.
Oh, is it really?
She loves that thing. Yeah, well,
I'm not surprised. That doesn't shock me.
It turns out it's a hide-a-bed. It's like a 19th century hide-a-bed.
Oh, really?
When it's pushed in, the slats are like this. They're staggered, which is why it's so uncomfortable.
Ah.
But when you pull the thing out and you turn it into a bed, all the slats flatten out, and it's perfectly flat. Set a mattress on it. She's like, "Oh, this is incredibly comfortable."
So, unlike most hide-a-beds that are shitty beds, but okay couches, okay bed, but a shit couch.
Yes.
Very different back in the Civil War.
Cushioned by ghosts.
Right.
Cushioned by goats?
Ghosts.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's even less comfortable.
I know. Because they're supposed to be ghosts, right?
Well, yeah, Civil War
something?
soldiers supposedly died on it.
Yeah. see,
Probably
there you
because
go.
it was so uncomfortable.
We had
Probably hadn't
a
been
That's
shot or
probably true.
anything.
Right.
Yeah. They were just like, oh my dear God.
we had a World War II mortician's table.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that thing is super rad.
Was it stainless steel or
No, it's wood.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Sanitary. Was it like finished or?
It was finished.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, red wine.
Because it's still gonna soak in, huh?
yeah. There's probably some like horrible, 80-year-old
You're
bacteria
welcome.
in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Living the dream.
Yeah.
So I wanted to for the topic because we're still
Drinking
doing
wine,
that.
not beer, too.
I know.
I'm drinking beer.
Well,
There's beer in the refrigerator.
this
yeah.
one was yours, but
Oh, that's mine. Okay.
I had to bring. Well, it's not champagne, but it's sparkling wine
It was
because
close.
I didn't get to imbibe on the.
Right.
on the
There's still
happy
3
party,
bottles in the
so-
coolers outside.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Yeah, please do.
I'm not going to complain that there's wine, but it's
Yeah.
just a change.
Yeah.
that there's wine.
No, we
that's
have
good.
we have beer too, but yeah, cool.
I wanted to talk. We're
it's from the
continuing
New
our
New
GM
Zealand.
our GM skills series. I wanted to talk about downtime role playing. That is the stuff that happens away from the table and in between sessions. So maybe it happens by text, or it happens over Slack, or by email, or in your Facebook group, or whatever, or phone conversations, or however you do it. And I want to talk about the value of it and what kind of parameters you set around it, and what sort of things you use it for. Does anyone have any more experiences about dealing with downtime role playing that you would like to?
Well, I know in one of the first games we played outside of D&D, it was a mage LARP. We did a lot of downtime because in the World of Darkness kind of lends itself to that downtime role playing, and all of your characters as a mage, or you're a mage when you're with the other mages, when you're kind of a regular human when you're not.
A mage LARP.
Yeah.
A lot of sandbag.
I know.
No, no, we were actually all delegates from the different towers. I can't remember the exact mythology at that point. It was a long time ago. But trying to establish a new Council of Nine. I think someone had assassinated the Council of Nine, so we were trying to establish a new council.
Oh, wow. So you have like tons and tons and tons of spheres, too.
Oh, yeah.
Which means that, I'm just going to make a new house right there. Cool. I'm like,
was
oh,
helpful-
fuck, okay, we got to build this.
they
You
were
got a lot of
all-
downtime.
All the players were very experienced at it. I was kind of brought in by someone else, so I was brought in almost as an acolyte to the whole thing. So like, I'm a new mage, so it was very easy for me to kind of like, I don't know what's going on, and understand that. But a lot of that game was in downtime. It was okay. We played, every week, every Friday. What did your character do over the week? And my character was really interested in finding out about the secret society. So like, I want to find out about the secret society. It's like, okay, great. So I would get emails from the storyteller from the secret society, and we would role play that through email. And I found that really, really helpful.
A lot of LARPs, it seems, I haven't played in one since I ran Killer in high school, but a lot of LARPs seem to be, rely a lot on downtime.
It seems like that too. Have you LARPed
Oh, yeah. And a lot of times in LARPs, it seems...
outside of East Jesus?
Yes.
Okay.
That wasn't actually a LARP.
Okay.
That was a
I
joke.
know. It was real life. Wink.
Yeah, and in most LARPs that I've been in, there are a core group of people who are friends with the guy who's running the game, and they're playing that game. And then everybody else is kind of playing NPCs in their game. Right. And so
Hashtag truth.
they don't care. The game master doesn't care what you're doing when you're not interacting with his core of characters. So you can just fuck off and do whatever. You can do your thing. And so everything, in my opinion, kind of everything's downtime in LARPs. And also in LARPs, if you're going to do something when there isn't a game going on, that's really difficult. So you can describe or talk to a game master like, what did you do? Well, I did these things. Okay, cool. I'll put that in the folder. What I love is my mimes actually transfer now.
Right. Well, to the people who
Oh,
watch
yeah,
the
people who
videos.
watch it.
There's
Okay.
still
yeah.
far more people that are listening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they can feel left out.
You just mime thrown away.
Throwing away the
Yeah.
thing that somebody had just written.
Exactly.
Now, do you just on a slight tangent? Do you think is that the paradigm you're describing in the LARPs being there's the inner circle of the storyteller's friends, and then everyone else? Is that a result of the LARP having a lot of people?
Usually.
Okay.
Like, you just can't, like, game master what everybody wants to do.
Right.
And it's also still kind of like the style of role-playing where somebody has come up with a story and is running people through it, as opposed to some of the more loosey-goosey, playing to see what happens kind of games.
Right.
But it also, I think it lets the people who are playing NPCs have that let's play to see what happened kind of game within the structure of somebody else's game.
Now,
So it's kind of fun.
And also, I mean, it was mostly vampire LARPs that you played,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Oh, and also there was a tip. I figured something out to make sure that you're actually written into all of the storylines, and that's hang out with Jessica Drew. You hang out with her,
Right.
stuff just happens around you.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's because she's drop dead gorgeous.
Oh, the patriarchy.
Because the thing
And how?
the thing I always kind of assumed, especially having just finished running a vampire game, the maneuvering and manipulation of the other player characters. It seems if you had a large enough group, you probably need to have something in your back pocket story-wise. But a lot of times, I would think the game's going to happen in its own way, especially if you have a situation where you start the game and the prince has been killed, and there's a power void or something.
Exactly. One of the problems that does tend to happen is players who are super powerful just getting everything they ever wanted. Like, I bluffed my way into that group once. I made a city gangrel that had jack of all trades, so I could get a skill of anything if I wanted to, and so I just kind of bluffed my way in that I could do all this badass bullshit, and ended up like hanging out with these 4th generation vampires who were like, okay, cool. Okay, well, I got 2 retainers that you can eat, and that'll get you up to 11th generation. And then that guy over there,
They're
he's
twinking
got,
you.
Yeah, and they're just fucking twinking me out into like this thing. It's like, oh, great, I have everything I ever wanted. Well, I guess I don't need to play anymore.
Right.
And I quit the game.
absolutely.
After they like spent all their resources on me, I was like, it's been swell, but swelling's gone down.
That's a good point. The only time I've ever done it is when during the session, like say you're playing a 4-hour or 5-hour session every couple weeks, and just depending on where the spotlight fell in that session, there were things I wanted to do or interact with a certain NPC. Usually it's an NPC or do a thing. And then that'll just happen offline because I can tell as a player that I don't want to continue to just like, I don't know, RP masturbate through the session, and we've kind of had enough of those.
You'll masturbate on your own time.
Exactly.
God fucking damn
Hence
it.
why it's it's the lonely fun.
So
Yeah.
so getting back to downtime RP and stuff like that, in a tabletop setting, because this is
Yeah.
Right.
what are the things that you think are most suited for doing at a downtime situation rather than at the table?
Heist games.
Really?
Or like if you,
I
especially
can see that.
Cyberpunk or Shadowrun.
I was going to say Cyberpunk.
Like all the
All
intel
of the
gathering?
stuff, yeah, all the intel stuff, you do that. And so it can be, you do that beforehand, and then the game is actually like letting
Pulling
all
the triggers.
those things fall down.
Right. Oh,
and
okay.
that can be really, really cool and really, really fun. And I like Google Hangouts for everything. And so doing that, but even if people are busy, just texting throughout the week can be really good.
That's what I was going to say, texting or Slack or email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
or resource management games.
Well, it's the things there on my list were like shopping,
Yeah.
selling things that you like, specifically fantasy games like D&D or something like that.
Yeah.
You want to get rid of stuff, things like that.
See, we should just kind of hand wave that. Like, okay, you do that, that's fine.
Sometimes.
I guess it depends if it's
Yeah.
a resource management game. You might want to get more in depth, but
I could see that more
I'm
if
like-
you're going to like a mage's guild, and then you need to do something there. The rest of the group's not going to be allowed there.
Right.
Or thieves guild, where the rest of the group isn't going to be allowed. Like in a standard, most of the time, like role playing, talking with some like shopkeeper, it's not that interesting.
Right.
But talking with like the archmaze of Ventuzler, that can be interesting and important for whatever it is that you want to do.
To that player character.
To that player
Since he's
character.
the only one who actually gets
Right.
to be there. Right.
And then the fallout from that, good or bad, comes onto the group, and you can be a great hero. Or, guys, I got some bad news for you.
we need to leave town.
Exactly.
You gotta go. Oh man, that'd be so rad! Can you imagine it? Like the game starts, and the thief's like, "Hey guys,
We got to go.
we gotta go. We gotta go now." And everybody had shit they want to do.
Oh yeah. That would be.
Oh, that'd be awesome!
I think in any genre or any type of game, when you want to deal with backstory stuff or NPCs that are part of your family or friends or backstory, if they're not directly involved in the game, but it helps for character advancement.
Because if the rest of the player characters, if you let them into your parents' house, they'll steal everything.
No, they will. Yeah. It's probably true.
It happened in the
Well, if
the
Bruce
fourth
is in
edition
your
D&D game. They went to Stork's characters. This is
Oh, seriously?
his fancy foppish character. They went to his
God.
dad's house.
Oh god!
And they're literally robbing the house blind, leaving with sacks of shit.
Oh, that's so amazing.
Old-fashioned thief hobos.
Yeah.
So, murder hobos. Murder hobos for the win.
Thief hobos.
But yes, I agree. If,
Yeah.
like anyone that a player character wants to insulate from the murder hobos, you could do that.
But also kind of piggybacking off that, going back to the idea of backstory, something my current group has been doing is a lot of pre-game for the session 0 effectively being done via Facebook, just you and the GM.
Right.
And you're like, I've had a couple of people running me through vignettes for my character's backstory. Like, okay, here's what your character is doing at age 10, at age 16, and all that kind of thing, and how you build that character so that the DM knows, but not everybody knows.
Right. That's
that's
cool.
really
No, that's a
That's-
cool
right.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric from New Jersey said that in his LARP they have our LARP has a between game action formula where people did a whole thing for downtime. That's vague. You need to expand on that, sir.
That sounds like math. I've just been like, oh well. La, 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 la,
I
with my
know.
character
Do you get
sheet
XP if you do
equals
stuff between games?
27 email.
Yeah. 2 XP.
One of the things when we had when we ran the FFG Star Wars game, Bruce had a character. Oh, what was that class called? Not a tinkerer. He was basically like a tech. Like a.
I believe they like to be called
A
travelers. now.
slicer?
He wasn't a well. He had slicing, but his main thing because the
Like
there
a
are-
mechanic, right? Like a
mechanic. There are very intricate rules for equipment in the FFG Star Wars game.
So
Frickin'
shocking. Fantasy Flight Games has a
tons.
lot of it.
Yeah.
But there's your basic blaster,
Yeah.
and then there's like a dozen and a half alterations you can
Yeah.
make to the
Right.
blaster
Oh,
to
absolutely.
improve it,
Yep.
or make it more dangerous, but also less reliable, and all kinds of stuff. So he was modding stuff in between sessions
Did he
because
have a talent that did like a...
yeah,
probably.
there's a it might have been a skill tree. I don't know.
Okay,
Probably.
yeah, which would be the talent, right, on the skill tree.
Not my
blah, blah,
favorite
blah.
system.
I don't know. Yeah.
Reading the book, I really like the system. Running the game,
Yeah.
not a fan.
I'm not
Yeah.
a fan of
Really?
skill
That's why
trees.
I'm starting a
Yeah.
game, so I'm very interested to hear. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
If you want to borrow, I have all 3 books up there. if
Oh
you
no,
wanna
I
borrow.
have the ones I need.
Okay.
We're doing Force Destiny.
Okay. Well, if you have all of them, then you can have all the races too,
Yeah.
because there's different races in each book.
I might just.
Yeah. Because you may want a Bith Force guy, or an android who
Wait, a Bith Sith?
a Bith.
You almost got me on the inhale. I was this close. Red wine everywhere.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
But that was something that is, for as far as the party, everyone in the party is interested in having their stuff modded and improved.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So he's going out, getting some money, and going out and buying attachments to put on the weapons and equipment. But there's a bunch of dice rolls he's got to make to do it. So I'm like, let's assume that happens away from the table. So he would come back and say, and honor system obviously. He says, I rolled and I did this and I did that and then I lost this piece of equipment because I screwed up the roll. And da, 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 da. So that was a good thing to not waste table time, because that, to me, that's kind of the key. Is table time is it's a precious thing. You only have so much of it.
It's a resource.
Right. And if you can finagle the storyline or the passage of time in such a way that that downtime tends to happen at the end of a session, then all of that fiddly, bookkeepy stuff can happen away from the table.
I could even see a system that has downtime built into it, like Blades in the Dark, where, because if you're doing, it's more like bookkeeping, to your point, maybe towards the end, that you're trying to, I want to buy something, I want to talk to this person, I want to develop a contact. But someone might want more out of that, and I could see that happening offline in either, like you said, a text or
Right.
email or that sort of thing.
I agree. That's it. That's all I got.
All right.
Anything else?
That's all you got?
That's all I thought of as,
Yeah.
Shadowrunner, like Matrix, like that's one of the things of
That's
running
that's a
Shadowruns.
brilliant idea,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that is a lot of sidebars.
Those,
So
Usually.
there's
those
actually
games for sure.
there's a game that I want to run for a lot of people that is based on just when people are available, like at a certain time, where there's some people who are fixers who have lots of contacts.
Yeah.
So you figure out a run, contact a fixer. They put together a group from the pool that's available.
Oh.
Fun idea.
Totally.
And then
Yeah.
you introduce them to the run. They
Yeah.
have a week to do all their stuff, and then one game session.
That
to
is
do
a
it.
brilliant idea. The
And
only thing
so-
you gotta watch is if, especially if the game progresses after a while, and because I'm sure Shadowrun has XP and
Yeah,
character
yeah.
advancement. The people who get in a lot of runs are going to get used a lot, and the people who've made characters that didn't get picked the first time around may be at a disadvantage.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm going to use is recovery times, so that if you do runs, you will probably get shot.
Ah, okay.
Really?
Right. So
Okay.
yeah, you're in the hospital.
Yeah,
or
and you're in a
something,
hospital, and
right.
magic speeds up recovery times.
Right.
But I'm not doing the boop, all good, because then why the fuck do you have hospitals?
Is
Right.
this, you're looking at traditional Shadowrun?
Second edition Shadowrun.
Really?
Yeah, I like second edition Shadowrun because it doesn't. The later editions start using like modern IT shit, and I really, really
Right.
like the old
80s, yeah.
but also like
When the
that,
internet was magic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, the balkanization of information is super important, I think, to Shadowrun, and that gets your Matrix runner, your Decker, in there with the group, so he can go in and plug into an actual thing rather than be in
Right.
Wi-Fi,
Texas,
yeah.
doing whatever.
Yep.
And I also really like the system has these like dice pools as well as the skills. So your skills might be 4 dice, but you have like 8 dice in a nebulous combat dice pool that you can use to attack, or you can use to defend, or to soak
Okay.
damage.
Really?
So yeah, it's a very interesting system. It's not a great system. And it is an older system, so there's a lot of like kind of bullshit I'm just gonna glaze over because I don't need to do bookkeeping for that many things.
Well, there's a lot. If I recall correctly, because I have 20th anniversary edition, which is probably
Me too, or 25th, or whatever it is, yeah.
I don't remember. It's the one with the little pretty ribbon. But there's a lot of roles in combat.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of like rules for contacts, and there's a lot of rules for walking down the street, and there's a lot of rules for when some. And so I'm kind of like brushing all that bullshit aside, and I also really want people to have like cyberpunk characters, like punk. I don't want them to be like operators. So I'm putting all these things. By the way, in this setting, corporations don't care if you successfully run. They're not going to come after you. It's a waste of their resources. You are nothing. You're sinless too, so they can't even fucking track you. They don't care if they kill you, but they don't want to come after you. Unless you show up and murder somebody, if you do wet work, then you're fucked. And everybody you know is fucked. So don't let anybody that you know do wet work.
Right.
But like, just sort of
That's cool.
encourage that 80s, 90s cyberpunk action to really sort of happen.
Yeah.
And then, have an Ocean's 11 vibe, which I think a cyberpunk run should.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
And also just kind of disclaim decision making sometimes of like, okay, I know there's going to be some sort of door here, but what's in front of the door? I don't know.
Yeah.
What is in front of there? And just sort of like have it be fluid and flexible so that I can really let the players, whoever is there, like really shine.
Right.
So
No, that's really
also
cool.
with the way you're setting it up, I mean, if they're doing their intel correctly, they're going to know, oh, we have this kind of problem to get into the building, so I'm going to need that PC to be able to get past that thing. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so you can kind of actually build your run with your characters because they start thinking of like, well, okay, what about those delivery vans?
Right.
I didn't even think about the fucking delivery vans. Cool. Let's talk about the delivery van security. And you have all of these, back and forth to kind of play to see what happens.
But you're saying that you would basically, instead of downtime, there are different sessions with different groups of characters.
It's downtime because you have the first one where you all
Okay.
get together.
Yep.
And get the run,
Yep.
and then everybody decides what they're going to do, or even in the downtime decide. And then I do fucking a billion
Yep.
one-on-one sessions or
Yeah.
two-on-one sessions.
Yeah.
And then the next week, it's
Yeah.
like, okay.
No,
let's
I
do
like
it.
that because that's the thing about a cyberpunk game or a heist game is that, I don't know, 2/3, 3/4 of the game is the setup.
Yeah.
And then you have 20 minutes or 30 minutes to like pull off the heist.
Right.
Which is,
God help you if there's combat, because then you've got another 3
Yeah.
hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is why you want to avoid combat.
Right.
you do
but
except
also,
for dice rolls.
there is
So then it's like, wow.
I really want to not punish them for failing a run. Because you have one game session, and if we run out of time, it's like, guys, it's 10 o'clock. We
Yeah.
pulled the plug here, you all run has failed, you go home. That's not the worst thing in the world.
Right.
And you have, because in regular Shadowrun games that I played, you either have a 100% success ratio or everybody's dead. That doesn't
That's not as
make
interesting.
sense. Yeah. So
I mean, it never
Interesting.
happens in fiction, but I'm sure there are lots of those kinds of ops and heists where they go in and something goes horribly wrong. They're like,
Absolutely.
I'm unplugging everything. I'm going to get the fuck out of here.
Right.
This never happened.
Have you ever played this Sprawl?
no, I have not.
Okay. You should.
I should.
It's Shadowrun inspired, but without the like fantasy elements and magic. But it's
So cyberpunk.
cyberpunk, yeah. Although my friend Colin would argue that cyberpunk is really Tears and Kisses in the Rain because it's like you need to get the punk in cyberpunk. To your point,
You do need
Yeah.
to have punk and cyberpunk.
Yeah.
That is true. You need to be like struggling against.
yeah, the man,
The man.
and yeah. No, cool.
Yeah, it's preparing for our dystopian future.
Or, you mean the darkest timeline? That
Any minute.
zip it.
All right. Do you want to read the first email since on your triumphant
Yeah.
return?
I do. We don't use funny voices anymore, though, do we?
Sure.
No, we totally do.
No, I'm not.
If you want.
No.
Do you want to use your best Lakewood voice?
Wait, what's a Lakewood voice?
liquid.
Is that you trying to look innocent over there?
No, I think a Lakewood voice would basically just be a typical Southern California voice.
Okay.
It isn't Surfer or Val.
Hello, podcast people.
There you go.
I am in need of some advice and suggestions for setting up a 1/2 shot adventure for my crew. I have it in my mind to do a The Raid/Dreaded style adventure in Dark Heresy, where my PCs are sent into a huge locked down apartment building designed after the Ponte Tower. Do a Google image search.
I'm
going
gonna
to
do that right now.
It's quite striking.
I did.
They need to sneak in and clear out huge groups of gangers and cultists and sorcerers and daemons in a very limited time frame before the bosses in the Inquisition just nuke the whole place. killing not only the PCs, but tens or hundreds of thousands of civilians also trapped inside. It can be a pretty straightforward plot. Start at the bottom, go to the top, fight all the way. So I'm interested for some advice or best practices in this type of adventure to make it interesting and not just one long final fight brawl from floor to floor. What should I include? How can I encourage my PCs to run and hide at certain points? What non-combat NPCs should be present to interact with? Should I actually make the PCs track ammo this time? How would you run this kind of game? Any and all thoughts welcome. Thank you.
My first thought on this, keep the fact that there's a time constraint when they're going to start bombarding. Don't let them know that. Have something happen during the course of the adventure where they discover that fact. That
they didn't know that it was time bound, but
exactly. Like, well, maybe they
might be fucking around, and then
maybe they tell them you need to go down there. You need to be done by this time, and they don't say. Maybe they don't say why. They just say you need to be done by that time. But you've got a thing that gives you a lot of tension, and I think you're not wasting, but there's an opportunity for a very dramatic moment when they have the realization that, the reason we have to be done in 4 hours is because they're going to vaporize this entire place because this is fucking Warhammer and Jesus.
Well, potentially they got sent in there and not told that,
well,
so that they figure it out.
In Warhammer, like the Inquisition, it has a bunch of factions, and that's one of the cool things about the Inquisitions. There's the Puritans and the Radicals, and like you could absolutely in this scenario have like a Puritan monodominant, which means that like everything that isn't regular human should be destroyed and wiped off the face of everything, are getting ready to blow it up, and their Inquisitor, which is a radical, wants them to go in to get something. There's a bunch of different types of radicals. There's the Xanthists that believe that chaos artifacts and items should be kept and used against demons. There's the Xenoher. I don't remember their fucking name.
I don't know anything about those people because I play Thousand Suns.
Right. So it's like
Imperial.
You have a really good opportunity also to kind of introduce your characters to the struggles within the Inquisition. But if you're doing it against an Inquisitor and you aren't an Inquisitor yourself and an Inquisitor hasn't sent you in, they're fucked anyway.
Would there be a particular like ideology or group that they could be a part of and then discover someone in that structure that
absolutely
rocks their world?
Like a radical, there could be one where it's like they want to foster a new race of psychics. So it's like, cool, well, there are all these psychic humans in this thing and I need to do something so it doesn't get blown up.
Right.
Or that I now maybe want it to be blown up, and do we just want to get foe?
Right. One of the troubles you're going to have is that this is Fantasy Flight Games. And while it's a wealth of, if this is a love letter to 40K lore, is what these games are.
Oh, yeah.
They're not good for large combats. There are some rules.
There is a good game for large combats in the 40K universe.
Right.
It's called Warhammer 40K.
right. There's Deathwatch. Specifically has rules for Deathwatch Marines against hordes, they call them.
Right.
And you have these specific rules for destroying hordes, but not Dark Heresy. Dark Heresy is more like you're just barely better than regular people when you're starting out. And so either you're going to give them a lot of experience, which means they're going to take an entire session to make a character. Because I don't know if you've made a character in this system.
I've never made a character.
You get a whole bunch of it. You start with X amount of experience, and then you spend that buying like skills or traits. And then when you've spent X amount of experience, you go to the next level, and you can buy those traits or whatever. But there's just a metric fuck ton of them. And so
it takes as long to make a character as it does to paint a mini.
Yeah. Okay. So what you should do is have two people, one to paint your mini, and the other to make the character, and then you switch. Maybe more of a hide and seek. Like, you only have 4 hours.
Yeah.
And you know that fighting all these people is going to take a long ass fucking time, and really stress to them that if they get up in front of 20 people, they're going to get shot to death, then that might encourage them to run and hide.
Right.
Especially if their inquisitor, if they have somebody who's telling them, don't engage them. Or if you do, get the fuck out as fast as possible.
I think if you do that, which sounds awesome, then you introduce elements that make them feel like they have to debate whether they do want to come out of hiding then.
Right.
Like, do you step out of hiding to,
Yes.
Yeah.
And when they do, you have to reward them. You have to give them that feeling of being good at something. Because if their only feeling is the feeling of being so shitty, you have to hide all the time.
Yeah.
That's not a fun feeling.
No.
Right. Well, you're presumably you're giving them some sort of MacGuffin or something they have to go in and collect, or a one thing they have to go in and shoot and kill or something.
Yeah, you had one job.
Right.
First of all, total kudos for the references, because Judge Dredd, and have you seen The Raid? The Raid is amazing.
No.
It's an Indonesian action martial arts film that's amazing.
Really?
Still haven't seen the second one. Yeah, no, it's so good.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix?
I don't know. That's a good question. And I think it was written and directed by a Welshman. So there
Really?
you go.
Ah. Well, then it's obviously good.
Right? Exactly. No, it's amazing. I still haven't seen The Raid 2, which I don't know what it's actually called. Here it was called The Raid 2.
More raid?
But it was
The Raid 2? More
yeah,
raid?
yeah, raidier. This time it's personal.
Is
Except
the third
it
one
was
called The
personal
Raider
the
Ray?
first time. No, it's really good.
Oh, come on.
But they have to infiltrate this apartment building.
In the second one they fight. In the second one they fight an alligator, and it's Gator Raid.
Oh no!
Oh.
That's really.
The Raid, 1991.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it? I didn't see it that long ago, but it could have just been because
The Raid
it was at
2,
the ArcLight.
2014.
Yeah.
The Raid, 1954.
No.
That's got to be a World War II film.
No. I saw it in the at least
Starring Anne Bancroft and
Either
Van
in-
Helfen.
either in the aughts or
Wow.
Well,
That sounds like a vampire hunter
Yeah,
with
let
a
me
lisp.
Yep.
Van Helsing.
yeah, exactly.
1930s China in the turmoil and flurry.
No.
The dethroned emperor
No.
Pu Yi. No.
Are you sure?
No,
That sounds totally
I'm
like this.
kind of sure.
They show the sequel, but they don't show the original. This is definitely the sequel because it's 2014.
There you go.
I just thought of something that's actually like constructive.
2011, my friend.
Okay, all right.
So if you can get a copy of Old Necromunda,
Yeah.
when it says what non-combat NPCs should be present, what should be there, get an old copy of Necromunda and
Not a
look
new
at
one?
the terrain.
Because it's back out.
Yeah, but the old one's easier to find.
Okay.
And you should pay money for the new ones.
Yeah. The new one's like $127.
Yeah, it's really expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Holy!
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
looks
yeah.
amazing, though.
The new models
great
are
artwork.
they're
Yeah.
so good. All you don't need rules to play a miniatures game. You're looking for they have you find a slime pool where you can harvest edible slime from it, or because in these spires you are under 100 kilometers of city above you.
Right.
So there's all these really fucked up things that you find in the lower parts of it, and this tower could be going through 5 levels of it, and so there's all these weird things in it that are very specific to spires or to 40K. So if you just get a copy of that, you can just mine it for gold. And they have all of these bits of fiction and stuff in it too, where they have personalities or people your game can hire. Those are NPCs that you could interact with. So that's a gold mine for actual RPG material.
Cool.
Oh, excellent.
All
Yeah,
right.
we have a listener, Hazelnut Mudslide. That's
Hazelnut Mudslide?
Yeah, Hazelnut Mudslide.
Yeah, that sounds
That's
good.
all about the Necromunda.
He came to a party and he brought me all the stuff to make it.
Yeah.
There's the Kahlua and the Frangelico and the...
Yeah, I didn't know how good that stuff was.
I made dark chocolate shot glasses.
Oh my god, they were so good.
So
Wait, what's in that?
No,
No.
it's a
Quick
dark
tangent.
chocolate shot glass.
I
What?
got a mold to make shot glasses.
Oh my God.
Like a what are they made
I
out of?
missed it.
they're like stretchy. It's not rubber. It's like silicone.
Yeah.
A silicone
Well,
that
it's
makes
silicone rubber.
Yeah, it has four shot glass molds, and I took Ghirardelli's
Really?
70% dark chocolate and melted it down and poured in each one. I made about 12 or 15.
I had at least 3 of them. They were delicious.
Sunday I'm here. Just saying.
I have more chocolate. I can make more.
Okay.
And
I'll
then,
bring
and
you
then what
some.
I'm
Little
doing
Bailey's,
is
little Kahlua, little
putting
Jameson
it-
floater on top.
putting a hazelnut mudslide with a little bit of whipped cream on top of it.
It was so good.
They were awesome.
I want that.
Diabetes.
Yeah.
Diabetes.
Diabetes.
Who is that? Wilfred Brimley?
Yeah.
Wilfred Brimley, yes. If you've got diabetes,
Ever eat
I
a
used to
diabetes?
think of the unicorn guy and they put his face on it saying diabetes. It's so good. Oh, it's so good. Oh gosh.
the unicorn guy's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
All right, thank you, Sam.
Yes.
Yeah.
From Lakewood. Is this Lakewood,
So-
California? Are you local?
I have no
I know.
idea.
I don't know.
Because we have a Lakewood in California.
We do.
But yeah.
a
Oh,
good question.
here's another way you can make it go faster.
Yeah.
Is one of the things that game really has that's awesome is the best critical hit tables ever. They're
Dark Heresy?
awesome. Dark Heresy.
Really?
They're so great. Like, it's a 1 through 10, you roll a 5 on it and your chest explodes. And then it goes downhill from there.
Really?
And they have it for like explosives and fire and or
Oh,
and
so for
energy.
every different
yeah,
kind
for
of
every
damage.
because it's Fantasy Flight game, so you have to make it more complicated. But and also for each part of the body, so it's like you roll like a 7 energy for the leg and your leg gets amputated, but you do a 9 and it like gets amputated. But you bleed to death out, and that leg falls back and hits one of your friends or something like that. I mean, they're just hilarious.
It's funny. Have you ever heard of a board game called Kingdom Death?
Yes, I have.
No.
Yes,
Amazing.
It's the $500 board game.
Yeah, my friend of mine actually bought it. It's amazing.
Okay, I want to try it.
I
It's
know.
so much fun.
So the
Oh my
models are
God.
amazing.
It's
but
incredible.
Holy
But no,
balls,
they have
is
a
it expensive?
Kingdom Death.
And you just can't buy it. It's not available.
No, you had to like kickstart it.
Yeah, they kickstarted like $3 million or something.
I don't even remember.
It's
He
amazing.
bought it.
The models
What's
are
it called?
Kingdom Death. It's a giant box.
And
they have a.
Oh, it's like the ogre box
Yeah.
for the ogre Kickstarter, because that box is like
it's about that big.
Yeah.
Gloomhaven.
But they're all boss monsters.
And you have nothing. Like you
And
start.
you have nothing.
You literally start with a loincloth and a sharpened stone, and you have to like eventually get materials to build stuff.
And you have to. There are no materials that set for boss monsters. You have to kill them in order to create your settlement. It's so
awesome.
rad.
But
It's
there's
so
the reason I
rad.
bring it up is there's a whole table in the back because you get to a certain point where your character suffers major wounds, and it's like, okay, roll a percentile die.
Right.
Like, okay, yep, your head exploded.
Uh-huh.
Yep, that screaming antelope gorged itself into your chest and pulled out your own heart and stomped on it. Like, it gets insane.
Would we ever,
That's
would we
awesome.
ever
It's
actual,
amazing.
Oh god, I want to play this game
It's
so
so
bad. I
much
want to play
fun.
it so bad. It's cooperative too.
Yeah.
I was going to
Oh,
say, would,
okay, all right.
would we ever AP something like that? Because
Sure.
we were talking
Well,
about Green Horde.
As soon as I get my Thousand Suns done,
Okay.
I'm gonna AP
Yes.
Warhammer games.
Oh man, Thousand Suns and 8th edition are fucking badass.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right. I fucking think I picked them.
8th edition is great. 7th edition was a clusterfuck.
You guys
and
are
8th edition is
adorable.
awesome.
Eighth-
I just want to say. that was cute.
I've only heard about 7th edition, but everything I've heard is like I would never play that game.
Yeah, no.
But 8th edition is pretty lean.
Yeah, it's pretty lean, and Warhammer Fantasy decided that it wanted to be like a badass heavy metal cover like 40K is.
Right.
And has kind of gone the way of, of 40K.
There's a new. They're working on a new. I don't remember the name of the company. It's called Wrath and Glory. That's the new Warhammer roleplay.
Oh.
It's being done by an entirely different
Really?
group of
Nice.
people. I don't think it's FFG.
What are,
I don't remember who it is.
what are the dice in Dark Heresy? Is it polys? Is it D10s?
Dark
What
Heresy? I don't know.
I think
Well, it's
they're all
Fantasy Flight. I'm
polygons.
sure it's its own dice
Well,
system.
No,
But
Dark
this
Heresy
is
is
true.
it's D100, D100.
It
So
is,
it's
okay.
two
Two tens.
It's 2 10s, and that's another one of the problems with it is like starting characters are going to have a ballistic skill of 35.
Right.
Is that like
Okay.
Warhammer Fantasy?
That's like Call of Cthulhu.
RPG?
It's like Call of Duty. There was an earlier Warhammer 40K
Yeah.
role-playing game, and they used the similar system.
That's what I've been playing.
but it's
First ed.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
so
Percentile?
It's
Yeah.
percentile, and also you have like a dodge that's also percentile, but it's hard to dodge guns.
Okay.
But it's so hard to hit stuff.
Right.
You know, you got a 35% chance. So if you don't roll a 3 or less on one die, the other die doesn't fucking matter.
It's like Call of Cthulhu, except you're not a college professor fighting a giant god demon.
You have a little bit. They're a little bit less, and you're a little bit better.
Right.
But Dark Heresy really is you expect to die.
Right.
So it's unless you up your player character's ballistic skill, it may be difficult.
Right.
Okay.
So, and it's really easy if you're a psyker to blow your head up. It's one of my favorite things about it is you play a psyker, balls to the walls until your head explodes.
Yeah. Well, that's the one terrifying thing, because I've got a lot of psychers in my Thousand Sons. Mm-hmm. You rolled like double 6s or double 1s.
Oh yeah, you're fucked.
Your psyker is swallowed up.
Yeah,
and
it's gone.
It's been removed from the table.
Yeah, and your rubric Marines really fucking need those guys.
Yes, they do. and especially because I've got like Araman, who's and that would suck. Oh, I rolled 12.
Yeah, that'd be a bummer.
Goodbye, Araman.
That'd be a bummer.
There went.
Well, maybe you shouldn't use them
points.
unless you really, really need it.
Oh, but yeah, that's true. I've got a lot. I actually got a lot. I've got a lot of psychers. I've got Chaos Space Marines, and I think I've got 3 psychers with them. And then I've got there's a psyker that came with the regular Rubric Marines, and there's a psycher that came with the Occult Scarab guys. And then I got a set of 3 psychers.
Right.
That are just those dudes.
Now remember, if you're playing competitive as opposed to a narrative game,
I wouldn't do that.
Okay, good. Because competitive sucks for having a bunch of psychers because you can only cast each psychic ability once.
Right.
But in narrative,
right,
it's fucking rad.
Because I looked at that and I'm like, I like I really picked them because I like the helmets.
Oh yeah, they're fucking cool.
They have the cool.
They're like King Tut fucking Space Marines.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Really, really, really hard to paint.
Yeah.
That's why it's taking me so long. And I've spent like $500 on minis, and I have yet to play a game with them because I'm still fucking painting.
And wow, you have a small army then.
That's insane.
About 1,000 points.
Yeah.
About 1,000
That's
points.
insane.
I just got a
Oh man,
what
the new
call it?
minis are so good.
Oh yeah.
They're so good.
So much easier to put together.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
thank you, Sam in Lakewood, letting players narrate roll results from Juho in Finland. Would someone like to read this?
In a Finnish accent.
Go for it.
All right.
Best Finnish accent?
The
Go,
land,
Joey.
The land of my, I don't know,
I
quarter,
got some accents in my
third
belt.
people.
Finland is not one of them.
Yeah.
Well, don't piss them off because they beat the Russians.
That's the only way I would do a Finnish accent would be completely stereotypical and cartoony and would piss somebody off. So I'm gonna.
I don't even know.
Oh, those are the ones with
care.
the big
Yeah.
white cloaks that they would like lay down in the snow and
Yeah.
they suddenly become invisible.
It's why it's the biathlon is a thing.
Oh,
It's because they ski and shoot and then they ski away.
Right.
Or sometimes they'd ski through camp with like a submachine gun, just shoot them like as they go by, like drive-by shooting through the tents, and then keep going.
oh, a ski by shooting.
It was a ski by shooting.
I don't even know what their accents sound like. I have no idea.
Scottish.
Exactly. It
They
was-
sound
I
Scottish.
was just
Go.
going to say.
Oh, that's
Right.
right. Because you know what? I've
Completely
seen
wrong.
13th Warrior. They
Yeah,
do.
they do.
Oh, woof. Hi, Happy Jackers.
That doesn't sound Scottish.
Not at all.
No.
No. Thank you.
I can do Irish, can't do Scottish.
Okay.
As the Swedes have now been so present in your show lately, here's an email from Finland for a change.
Excellent.
There is
Yay.
debate if Finland is a part of Scandinavia, but we take a
Yes.
part of all of the leading RPG countries' glory that is headed towards, correct term, Nordic countries.
So is the Nordic Peninsula from like the White Sea down to like where, like to the
Black Sea?
the Baltic? No, the Black Sea's way south. The
Okay.
White Sea
If
to
you
the
ask
Baltic,
if you ask the
like the lowest point.
Vikings, yes.
No, it totally goes around that little.
Well,
right?
yeah. Well, because Finland is on like that part. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's on
next
it's on the Russian side,
Right.
way over on the Russian
Yeah,
side,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it kinda
I would
goes-
say it's I would say it's Nordic country.
After a long hiatus in
Oh, Black Sea.
role-playing, I have
Okay.
now activated in gaming again. Because of life and
Yay.
family, it has been one-shots and conventions and online gaming. In my youth, my group's main game was RuneQuest that we used to explore the world of Gloriantha?
Glorantha.
Glorantha.
Glorantha. And ooh, I lost my place. And here, explore meant heavy combat-oriented adventures, like D&D. This background led me to a couple years back to Hero Quest system, not the board game, but the board game is amazing. They have the broadsword.
The broadsword.
And I love the system. It takes all the crunchy stuff away and lets the GM and the players concentrate on the story. As the system, for some reason, is still niche, I have found myself mostly GMing than playing it. Okay. There is other systems like this available, Powered by the Apocalypse, Fate, I think. But this hit me not at least with the default setting of being Glorantha. After the free advertisement for Chaosium? So many words I've never seen before. I get to my actual
the
topic.
Publishers. Chaosium is a publisher.
Well, I figured, I was like, I think that's how you say that.
Yeah.
You did well.
Thank you. Only 3 glasses of wine and it's good.
I
No, it's awesome. We're getting to the good part of the show.
Yeah.
In Hero Quest, like others too, all the contests are resolved so that the outcome is success or defeat in varying levels. Complete, major, minor, marginal. These correspond with yes and, yes but idea. But when the resolution of the contest is ready, the good old way is that the GM narrates what happens to the character and the players listen in awe. As the GM, I would really like to hear what the player had in mind about the outcome and be entertained with the unexpected outcomes. As a player, I would really like to narrate myself what happens to my character. Especially in Hero Quest, for example, a combat can be resolved with a roll of 2 dice. This leaves lots of room for interpretation and narration. What is your take on this? Have you let players narrate outcomes of contests, and how did it go? Did you lose control of the story with this? Do's and don'ts. Thanks for a great show. Juho from Finland. P.S. Kippis. That is cheers in Finnish.
Yehida.
P.P.S. If this topic has already been addressed in your show in the past, could you please point me towards it so that I can listen to it? I am a rather new listener and haven't listened to all the past episodes.
It would take so much work for us to find it.
Right?
It's much faster and easier for us to just talk about it again. Although I don't know if we talked about this specifically.
I have. I love it.
Yeah.
It's fucking rad.
No, I think so too. I always let players narrate if possible, and if they usually go farther than you would anyway. With
Players will
regard to-
almost always narrate their own critical failure
Absolutely.
worse than you had in mind.
I
and
totally
they'll
agree.
always be more modest with their critical success than you
Yeah.
would have been. And
Yep.
that's at least for me.
I don't always do it, but just sometimes, will tell me what
Exactly.
happens.
Right.
As like a very cinematic moment. Like, I want to be able to tell them what my character did.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. I want, the GM to give you the option. Or
Right.
if I'm GMing, I want them to give them the option.
Uh-huh.
Something that I really like, when I was reading this email over the week, what made me think about was Pirate Game. Spanish Me, where Jim's like, okay, well, you can succeed at this, but at a cost, and explain to me how that looks. And it's like, it totally reminded me of that. And I love that he does that. And
Yeah.
it's definitely a tool I'm putting in my GM toolbox is
So
that whole thing.
one of my favorite my favorite system now to run is Apocalypse World.
Oh, Jesus.
I fucking love it. I fucking love it. It's exactly my style of play.
Okay.
And one of the things about it that I love, it's not for everybody, and it's not for every single situation. But one of the things about it that I love is there's do something under fire is the cool role of you're trying to do something and there's something you can be
Pressures.
picking locks
Right.
or hiding or something like that. And if they get a 7 through 9, then there's okay, well, you succeed, but something else bad happens, or you have here's a shittier option for you. Do you want to take that or back out? And in those situations, I like to give them the shittier option because I want them to make the choice or do the yes but. Because they've already kind of told me what they're doing. And so it's kind of my job at that point to interact with them rather than if they tell me what they're doing and then also interact with themselves when something goes bad. I think that's just putting not too much on them, they can't handle it, but that's my job as
it's
a
also your
storyteller here.
opportunity to look at what your fronts are or what
Exactly.
if it plays into that where you don't necessarily want to hand over total narrative control at that point.
Exactly.
Well, see, I would totally farm that shit out because that's the one thing I hate about FFG Star Wars games. Have you ever seen are you familiar with the dice mechanic in that?
I'm the last Star Wars mechanic I played was when you rolled a bunch of d6s.
Okay. These things have.
And you could barely kill
Here,
anything.
I have the app on my phone. I can.
Oh no! I've got
You got the
a
actual
whole
die
fucking
here?
box of dice. Here you go.
good.
Yeah. So, do you like
Did I succeed or fail?
Oh god damn it, Fantasy Flight Games. This is why fucking L5R is gonna suck.
Okay, I know I'm in the minority on this. I actually love the dice
I
mechanic.
don't mind the dice mechanic. What I don't like is to have to be put under pressure when I ask someone to make
Yeah.
a fucking perception roll.
Yeah.
It's like, make a perception roll. You see it or you don't see it. Oh,
But they-
you saw it, but there's also a huge despair and a complication. Okay.
Yeah.
You see the person,
But you're sad.
They're standing next
Yeah.
to your ex.
Okay, but the book also gives you examples of what to do in those situations. Like, take a strain. Like,
It does.
Yeah.
But it.
Yeah.
if you can't think of anything, you always
Yeah.
have those options to fall back on.
That's true. That's the one. Actually, the one redeeming quality from what I've read, because I'm going to in a week and a half, I'm going to be starting an L5R game in the beta.
Oh god damn it.
We ran an L5R game for a long
You
time.
can see a lot of strongly worded posts with my handle on them in the
well, the thing.
Fantasy Flight forum.
I ran.
You can't cuss on there, it turns out. I didn't know.
Oh, on the FFG.
Yeah.
I ran probably. I don't know.
Did I get you?
There will be a couple listeners that will join you.
I
Yeah.
ran maybe like 18 or 20 sessions of 4th edition, and
Woof.
loved it.
Yeah, 4th edition has a lot of good things about it.
Okay.
I've read.
It has some issues because it's too easy to not die.
It's an MMO on paper.
It's no 4th edition L5R.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I
No,
thought you
but-
were
Oh,
D&D,
you're talking
no.
about D&D.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was.
Yeah,
4th
yeah.
edition L5R.
My first love. Is that what you're trashing?
The only
D&D
redeeming
first edition?
factor, because they still
my
have
sweet
the,
summer child.
the similar dice.
I know.
I've got someone made some for us because you can't buy them yet. You have to have the app.
Right.
But there isn't that you have to pull some sort of complication out of your ass for every roll. Instead, you just take what do they call
Strain.
it? Is it strain?
Yeah.
Is it
Strain,
strain?
yeah.
Strain. So you just take
Unless
that.
they've changed it since I said
no.
left.
Well, they did change the strain rules.
okay.
You no longer are compelled to have an outbreak or whatever they call it.
Oh right, you can hold on to it
outburst.
and just be
It's-
really upset.
And at some point you break your facade. Or whatever.
You can also still hit each other with buffers that they call katanas.
No, but they totally they pulled back. They pulled back on that though a little bit.
No,
so that,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which I thought was a bummer.
I was a little. I'm a little shocked at how hard it is to kill people.
Yeah.
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 Because
Because
that is not what Fantasy Flight Games
No.
does, except apparently with Warhammer 40K.
well, first edition L5R, when we went into battle, we'd write fucking death haikus.
Right.
Because it was very likely you're not going to come out of that.
Right.
And that was a thing, like this
Yeah.
is a world where
Yeah.
you'll just commit seppuku because you're
Right.
pissed out about what your lord's doing.
Yeah.
You know, the like that whole cherry blossom, transience of life sort of thing. That's what kind of sets L5R apart from other role playing games. If it's going to be like it's difficult to hit somebody, just use 5th edition rules and just change the names.
4th.
No, 5th
He means
edition
beta.
D&D.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
Oh.
Because those are better rules than Fantasy Flight. Or 4th edition.
Oh.
Or 4th edition. 4th edition rules are great. L5R.
Oh, yes.
4th edition L5R is great.
Okay.
If you don't want 4th edition L5R, I would just use D&D.
We're gonna try. We're gonna try it. We're gonna try. it. We're
Good.
gonna see what
I
happens.
hope it works better now. I did a lot of like duels, testing their
I know they
mechanics.
changed the dual
And it was-
rules.
Oh man, it hurt.
There was a lot
it
of
made me very
outcry about
sad.
duels.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those, I'm sure those changed. And what I'll do is I'll look at it and I'll say, okay, it's not deadly enough. Here's what we'll do to make it more deadly.
Right.
Because it needs to be. It needs.
should
It needs
Yeah,
to
it
be.
needs to be
should
deadly.
be playing
It needs to be like,
superheroes.
and you're dead.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that may just be upping the lethality or whatever that stat is for the weapons, because there's 2 stats for weapons.
Right,
There's
yeah,
damage
there's,
and lethality. Is it lethality?
I don't know. I've had 3 cups of wine.
I think it's lethality. But anyway,
Or you could multiply the damage by the lethality.
bam! There you go. You don't want to get hit.
That would be good.
They're asking me about the card game. I've never.
Oh, I played the card. I played the fuck out of the card game.
Is the card
The
game
new
good?
one?
I haven't done
Oh no,
the
the
card
new
game.
card game. New card game.
Really? It looks amazing.
For those listening at home, Tappy is flipping off as if he were
Yeah.
CA Dave.
So the problem I have with the new
Okay.
card game
Okay.
is that I love the Crane Clan.
Okay.
And the rules they have. Yeah, it's the pretty artistic queer clan.
Right.
It's the fucking best clan.
It's
and
the shit clan.
it's the best clan.
Scandal.
Crap.
I know.
I'm shocked. I am shocked. You said crap.
Hey, we're the ones who gives you all of your
Scorpion.
grain so you can stand on your fucking wall.
Right?
So shut up and like it.
Cheers.
Yeah, no, like everybody has really cool strongholds.
Now the chat room will explode.
Everybody has really cool strongholds except for Crane. And Crane's stronghold just fucking sucks.
Well, see, the game I run is based on Crane.
Yeah?
But I made up like a minor vassal family,
Uh-huh.
and everyone, all the party that came from wherever they were became Ronin, and have joined this vassal family that's part of Crane. So it's going to the setup for the adventure is not the typical L5R.
I have a dream game that I want to run, but it's just way past my abilities. That is another like on Google Hangout, and it's Winter Court at the palace. So in the winter, all of like the daimyos go back home, and so you are the player characters, the envoys for these people. They're the diplomats and their bodyguards and their shugenja and all of that.
Right.
And there are groups of 4 for all of the different clans. They all have the things they want to like scheme for.
Oh, for sure.
Because
Yeah.
once spring hits, you have to have declared war so that in the summer you can actually do that. So you have to figure out who's declaring war on whom in the wintertime when the daimyos are home.
It's like a court
So it's a
game.
court game.
That's
Right.
awesome.
I'm all about that.
Like
Right?
Oh
Song-
my god,
Song
I'm
of
all about
Ice
that.
and
It was
Fire.
so rad.
That is so
yeah, it's like
cool.
Song of Ice and Fire, and
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and this is for the survival of your clan, and everybody is gunning for everybody.
That's awesome.
I love that.
I think it'd be really fun, but
I think that'd be amazing.
Even when you run that,
okay, I'll let you know.
Guess
Yeah.
what I saw at Gen Con 50?
What's that?
An L5R LARP.
Oh, that must have been rad.
Oh my god.
Did they have
There-
costumes?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were wearing the katanas and the wakazashis. What do they call that thing?
daisho?
Daisho. I saw a lot of Crane. I saw a lot of Scorpion. I saw no crab. I saw because they don't. It looked
was
like
a
it was a
court
court game.
game, yeah.
It looked like it was a court game.
Oh, crab in the court are great though.
Fuck you.
Yeah, I mean they just fuck everything up. It's awesome. They need to be there.
I think I saw a few dragon.
Because
they all had the right
Okay.
colors, but it was fantastic. And like
that's
the
so rad.
it was mostly women playing Crane, but all the Crane, big white wigs with
Okay.
the blue
Yeah.
kimonos. I mean, I looked at that because I was playing
Oh, totally.
a Powered by the Apocalypse hack that is basically like a medical procedural TV show
It wasn't
thing.
MASH,
It's called.
was it?
No,
It was something else.
It's
I
called
forget.
The
You told
Ward.
me.
It's not. I don't
Okay.
even think it's been released yet.
Okay.
But it basically takes any like St. Elsewhere. I'm old. I don't know.
ER, Grey's
ER,
Anatomy.
yeah, all that. It's basically doing a game based on those kind of shows. And I had to use the restroom, so I had to walk all the way around, and there's this huge ballroom.
No.
What?
We
Oh,
had
you
to
want-
open it.
There's a
this
huge-
is beer,
Well, here.
but it's going to be fascinating. Where'd it go?
What do you need that
no,
for?
you had it.
This.
wait,
Oh. But there's a huge ballroom, and there's got to be like 60 people in there.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people who are like actively trying to avoid talking to other people, because,
especially
because-
Scorpion.
right. It was fascinating.
That smells amazing.
Anyway, back to this guy in his Hero Quest.
All right.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm an instigator.
So anyway, I think most of us agree that letting the players narrate this stuff is a good idea,
Absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
so too.
generally speaking. Unless you have something very specific in mind, or it's very easy to tell someone if like there's a certain story arc that you're planning for, or there's certain events that are going to be taking place, or whatever, and the player is doing something that is going to break the reality you can just say, well, you can't do that, but
Absolutely.
always.
Yeah.
My only suggestion is always offer an alternative that's close.
Right. Like, you can't, like, jump 30 feet in the air doing 4 backflips and, like, land on your enemy and strike it when it's a, World War II gritty game.
Right, unless you're Brian Boitano.
Right.
Right.
Because if you're here right now, he can answer to you. That's what Red Hano do.
I don't believe you. Prove it.
He'd make a plan and he'd follow through. That's what Brian
Boitano do.
Yeah.
Well,
But I think generally,
Generally, disclaiming narration
Yeah.
can be a good thing.
I think so.
It's probably, you don't want to do it all the time,
No.
Yeah.
but yeah. Anyway.
Because eventually it becomes laziness.
Yeah.
this is Crazy Pants.
What is it?
Crazy pants about it?
It's like, I don't know, 65% sour ale, 35% bourbon barrel aged.
Whoa,
And then
that's really good.
Cinnamon, dates, and anise.
That's plenty.
Oh, I really.
It's
fucking
really
like that.
good.
You
I
want
know.
Is it like a,
Oh,
what?
like a drop.
I love black licorice. So.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Yeah.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's why I
I know.
love
I'm
absinthe.
like,
Do you ever have any of the
Yes.
absinthe that I made back in the day?
Yes.
Yeah, it was good.
made?
Yeah. Yeah. It was like Coke.
Yeah, it was super good. Oh yeah, I put in.
That's interesting.
Wow. That is sour as fuck.
Yeah,
So
it's super good.
You know what this tastes like is
it's
kombucha.
really good.
Oh, I love kombucha.
Oh,
I've never had kombucha.
I just
Oh my god,
I
you
need to
need
get
to.
some
Yeah,
kombucha.
yeah.
I just got a kombucha brewing kit.
Oh, cool. So you can get like
Really?
that SCOBY, like
I have the giant mother,
yeah.
the whatever that thing is called, inside of a plastic sealed bag in the refrigerator.
At EJ, I had
I'm
this
sorry,
huge
what?
like glass thing that was a.
The giant
yeah.
bacteria kombucha scab.
It's the SCOBY. It's like sourdough starter.
Really?
In vinegar,
If you
they
took
call it a
sourdough
mother.
starter
Yeah.
and you put it in tea, that is kombucha.
really?
Really?
Uh huh. So if you like sourdough bread,
The more you know.
You'll like kombucha. Kombucha is
I
fantastic.
tried
Yeah.
yours. It was good.
Well, that was
used to
all
have
store
some.
bought. That's all store bought.
No, I know.
But
That's
I
the
have the
only
kit.
stuff
I'm
I've
looking
ever
good.
had.
I might have
there
to
are
get
there are
behind
now
that
kombucha taps, like kombucha bars.
That's
in LA.
awesome. Oh, they're
I know.
really?
Yeah, there are.
Really?
And they're charging way too much for it because you can just make it at home
I'm sorry,
so easily.
LA is overcharging for something? I'm confused.
It's true.
Oh God, it's so good. It makes me happy.
The vinegar mother.
This is yummy.
Anyway, it looks like a little tiny Cthulhu nightmare.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It's great.
It's a mass of bacteria colonies.
Yeah, and like sugar.
Yeah, to keep it alive.
Yeah, to keep it alive.
And then once you have the tea and it's cooled to a certain point, you drop the thing in there,
And
and
you name it like Gizmo, and then like don't.
No, then you can't feed it after midnight.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
And then you put it somewhere dark.
So yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
You let it sit for a while,
See?
like 2 weeks or something,
Yeah.
and then you scoop off the goopy stuff on the top, and that becomes the mother for the next time.
Yeah.
What?
SCOBY. Yeah.
SCOBY, yeah.
That was it.
Scoby.
Mother's vinegar.
My friend Shing
Okay.
is doing all of these like installations of like these far future scenarios, but not like Star Trek. Like these are like apothecaries, like collecting space herbs and shit like that. And so there's a SCOBY cult that she has kind of created.
All right, the chat room is something's going on.
Okay.
Coke72 said, "Just Savage, powered by the apocalypse,"
Just savage it.
and of course, Hive Mind's like fucking blocked.
Yeah.
Burn him with fire.
Yes.
Let him create an
Savage
advantage
it.
on fire.
Who said just savage it?
Cloak72.
Man,
That's
I have
adorable.
become
sorry,
less
it's
of a fan of Savage Worlds. I know someone.
But you know what I just thought of? Someone needs to make a PBTA hack of Savage Worlds.
Oh yeah, that'd be super easy.
Yeah, 'cause
No,
it's called PBTA
Yeah.
Apocalypse World. Yeah.
No, I mean I think that Savage Worlds is very useful when you want to play a certain type of game. Like I've always kind of said that your system flavors your game.
Sure.
You know,
Oh,
so
for sure.
when you are playing a certain system that favors combat, you're going to get into more combat. When you're going to, you know, when you're playing L5R, where if you get into combat, somebody's going to die, and it really, really might be you. Well,
There's an
then
even chance, yeah.
right. Then you might like hold off on it. So I think there's room in this world for both Savage World and Apocalypse World, even though I'm not going to run Savage Worlds.
Well, we just finished. They did a Rifts port in Savage Worlds. There was a big Kickstarter for it, and that translated very well. Now they had to totally mod the system because mega damage.
Right.
But that was, in fact, that was
mega damage.
That's my character right there.
Oh yeah,
the
Glitter Boy.
Yeah.
I love Glitter Boys.
He was from Quebec, and he talked like
sure.
this.
Oh, he was one of the new Glitter
and he
Boys.
had
Yes.
a tooth.
Oh, he wasn't one of the Glitter Boys that had been handed down father to son throughout the ages.
No, and they stole it from his brother, which never came up in the game. But yeah, it was
Did
a lot
you
of fun.
learn any French for it?
I had like 3 phrases
okay.
in the very beginning, and then I forgot them. Then I watched a lot of Slapshot.
Oh yeah.
And because there's that one guy, the hairy guy with the beard in there, who talks like this all the time.
Yeah.
I was recently in Canada for the first time.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
I love Canada.
Went to Vancouver Island.
Yeah, right.
And so it wasn't cold either.
I've only been to Alberta.
Oh my God, Vancouver Island's so great. I was in Victoria.
It's all like a freaking photograph of. It's like an Ansel Adams photograph.
Oh yeah.
The whole fucking
Yeah.
is. It's gorgeous.
It is beautiful.
I went to the World Scout Jamboree.
Oh okay.
Oh yeah.
Was it anything like Strange Brew?
No,
Oh okay.
Drats.
not at all.
Although there was Scout Jamboree.
It was a Scout Jamboree. For some of the Scouts, it might have been.
Fair enough.
All right, new guy from
Dark
Dawn
helmet.
in Pittsburgh. Joe, you want to go ahead?
I did the last one. Gina,
Oh,
you gonna go?
Okay.
Or doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
I can do it. I got glasses for this. New guy. I've been running a lot of different games with mostly the same people for years now. And I think I might have forgotten how to bring in new people correctly. It seems like every character my new guy plays just stands back and watches, with the occasional snide remark, no matter how much I pile plots on top of him. My instinct, which I wouldn't hesitate to do for the rest of my longtime crew, is to punish this inaction with terrible in-game consequences. But when I started moving that way, I got back a vibe like he thought I was treating him unfairly or I was intentionally ruining his character. Most recently, we were playing Monster Hearts, a game about teenage monsters, and which leans into melodrama and the stupid things hormones make you do. The character he picked, called the Ghoul, is driven by supernatural desire for plunder and chaos. He has to make rolls to not pursue them. He won't bite on the opportunities, and he doesn't want to make the rolls. What do I do? Is it me? I think I maybe didn't describe the game's premise enough or forgot to review the rules and expectations at the top of the second session because everyone else knows them already. Can and should I change? Or am I already right? Don in Pittsburgh. P.S. Nothing too drastic. The new guy is my roommate, and I'm not leaving the house to play with another group. I've got a wife and 2 kids here, so I'm staying at this table.
Actually, I know somebody who kicked somebody out of a game in the house he was living in.
Really?
Yeah, guy's a douchebag.
Well,
Oh man, he deserved it. But I love Monster Hearts. Monster Hearts is it's such a good game. It's so deliciously queer and weird and high school. But and the Ghoul is a great character for somebody who's new that you're trying to give sort of a like training wheels on, because the Ghoul has, like they say, it has hungers. So they have a hunger for.
It's a grabby
Right.
character.
So I
Yeah.
don't know if you're playing Monster Hearts 1 or Monster Hearts 2. But I don't really quite know what you mean as he won't bite on the opportunities and doesn't want to make rolls. Like, if you give him an opportunity to sow plunder and chaos, he's like, well, I don't want to sow plunder and chaos, but I don't want to make a roll not to. Because you get a choice. You can either decide to follow this thing. If you're given your hunger, you can follow it, and you get +1 to all of your rolls. And in Apocalypse World, +1 is feckin' huge.
Sure.
Yeah.
And especially in Monster Hearts, where you might have one stat that's it too. So I don't quite know if he's like not following his hungers, because what I would do is start having people fuck him, because the ghoul has the sex move of you have a hunger of have sex with this person again, or in second edition, create a new hunger. So you start making more hungers, and this person is going to want to start doing more things, and then you just make this character's life more interesting using these things.
I was just going to say, I'm wondering if he's not getting that you play into those dark impulses, though, because traditionally when you play, I mean, I don't know what his role-playing background is. That
You're deciding to do this.
Yes.
The other thing about the ghoul, though, is they have a move.
You guys are in a bubble.
Yeah, we are. Because we love this game.
I know.
You're in a bubble because this guy, I think he's me.
I think he is too.
So the ghoul has another character, has another thing.
Okay, that's great.
So the ghoul has a move.
I went to high school. I didn't like high school, and I'm glad it's over. Why would I fucking play a role-playing game that's high school again?
Then why are you... Oh, you mean you're playing the ghoul here.
No, I'm playing the guy.
Well, then why are you running the game, motherfucker?
He's not running the game.
He's
the new guy.
I'm the new guy.
Oh, you're the new guy.
I'm looking for a game. I want to play a role-playing game. I used to play D&D, or I used to play Traveler, or I used to play something else, and now I'm a high school monster, and there's a fuck skill. What the fuck is this shit?
But also, he mentions inactivity early on in the email. I don't think it's all Monster Hearts. I think this is a new game you're playing.
I don't know.
So
the email makes that unclear.
So one of the things the ghoul has is that you get like a bonus thinking mark experience, which is huge in that game. If you help somebody without them knowing it. And that is something that allows somebody who is withdrawn, you allow them to have opportunities to do that. It's like, I fucking hate high school. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to do anything. Okay, well, I'm watching this person. Oh, well, I can do this. And if you decide not to, it's like, okay, you decide not to. Because one of the things in Apocalypse World is you need to be a fan of your player characters.
Sure.
And make their lives not boring.
Right.
That's all you have to do. You don't have to punish them for not doing anything.
Well, that should be every role-playing game.
Right. I mean, if you... First edition Apocalypse World GM section should be required reading for every single GM.
Oh, totally.
Period.
Yeah.
Of just like the basic principles. Of make the world seem real.
Yeah.
You know, make their lives
not. Your players. The decisions they make have consequences. Like they're real. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like you say what your prep demands, what the rules demand, what honesty demands, like all of these things. But like for this specific situation, the ghoul is drawn by things. So it's like plunder and chaos. Yeah, sure. You're going to fuck things up in high school. I'm going to start, you fucking hated high school. So I'm going to give you a chance to fuck with everything. And you get a bonus for it. Right? And you start doing it, just start playing into what that person wants. It's like, what do you want from this game? It's like, I don't know, I fucking hated high school. Bam, there you go. You have your thing. Give them opportunities to...
Start it on fire.
Yeah.
Everything's ablaze. Yeah.
You know?
Go full Jed Nelson.
Yeah. Well, and I wonder if that's part of it, though, is that ask those leading questions. It's like about the choices you have in front of you to make, because otherwise the guy should be playing the ghost or something.
Right. The ghost is another great one.
Yeah.
Of like where if you look at somebody or you follow somebody without them knowing, you get some bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Yet, in the second sentence, it seems like every character that my new guy plays just stands back and watches.
It's more than just the system.
It's more than just the system.
Then he should be playing the ghost.
Yeah.
The ghost is a character that is invisible in like their dark form. I mean, that'd be perfect for this guy.
Yeah.
But I think the ghoul is an opportunity to kind of lead this person into being more proactive.
Right.
And just sitting down and being like...
It may be that they don't want to be proactive.
It seems they're afraid of being proactive. But they're, especially with the side remarks, it feels like they're like kind of dipping their toe in.
I'm still going to go with my same theory. Except this guy probably played D&D, where you talk to some people and buy some stuff, and then you go find a tunnel, and you go in it, and you kick down doors, and you kill shit and take its stuff. That's probably what he's looking for, and he's not getting that ever.
Well, and it kind of also sounds like the guy who's writing the letter might be treating Monster Hearts like Monster of the Week. which is another great
Oh,
hack.
totally.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's Buffy.
Yeah.
Right.
That's totally different.
As opposed to this
Yeah.
weird,
Yeah.
high school's weird.
We have
I'm
an AP
changing-
of,
yeah.
of Monster of the Week going on right
Yeah.
Oh my god, Monster Week's so good. But it's a very different game.
It is.
I like Monster Hearts more,
Me
but
too.
it is definitely like
Yeah.
much more of a real role player as opposed to real man kind of game. You remember that? Oh man, half of our listeners don't know what the fuck that is. Do you guys know that? Munchkins, real men, real role players, Loonies and Munchkins? You ever heard of that?
no.
Oh, I'm so old. Oh, fuck. I
Yes, you
do
are.
turn 40 this year.
Are you really 40?
I turned 40 this year.
Holy shit.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
I was
I remember
barely
when you
old
were
enough
a
to drink.
kid.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Oh, my oyster.
I don't know. Monster of the Week would be way more of a
I
kind
think-
of a trad approach for him.
I think
than,
Monster of the Week would be
Yeah.
a lot easier for this
Yeah.
person to get into.
yeah.
Maybe. Or you
But
can
it
play
depends.
you can play like a not powered by the apocalypse game too, and see if he lights up. Who knows? And,
know,
it may very well be that this is a guy. Go ahead.
No, does it say that he's played before?
Yes,
Other
it
than,
does. It does.
But what? Other
It
than
seems like every
everything he
character my
plays.
new guy plays
Right.
just stands back and watches.
So they
Right,
played
but
more
that's
than one
with
game.
him.
Yes.
So had he played before he started playing with roommate?
That I don't.
I don't
Because
know.
that would make sense.
The fact
to me,
that
That's
he's-
that
what I'm
it's
getting.
like-
It sounds
I'm
like he's
getting
being
a brand
snark-
new role player.
I don't think so.
That's what
'cause
That's what I'm getting.
He's being
Me too.
snarky.
Yeah,
Right, but he's
Oh.
being snarky because
He's uncomfortable.
exactly. I think
Yeah.
he's uncomfortable.
But is he uncomfortable because he's used to a specific type of experience,
I don't
and
know
now
if it
he's
says
getting
that.
high school?
I don't get that.
Or is it because
Me too.
I don't know. I don't know.
I
It's
get
like
he's
the
uncomfortable
guy-
with improv. That's what I get. I feel like that kid.
It's been my experience that brand new role players are not like this. They are more like, I'm going to do this and this and this. And it's like, okay, that person just came up with a whole bunch of amazing stuff they want to
It
do
depends,
that the rules
though.
don't cover. How am I going to figure this
That
out?
is not my last
Yeah.
experience with a brand new role player, like first time ever role playing with Apocalypse World, is they really didn't know what to do
Uncomfortable.
and very uncomfortable and just kind of hanging out with people.
Yeah.
And it depends on the
then
group.
Yeah.
ended up
Yeah.
becoming like this main part of the story, and ended up becoming this foil that caused another character and her to split the group.
Right.
And create all this drama and all this badass stuff, and like this new player turned out to be like the almost like not main character but driving character of the real plot, aside from all of the like apocalypse bullshit they were doing. Like the real plot of the characters interacting together was
Right.
really driven by the new character. I just gave her 12 sessions, 20 sessions, however many fucking sessions she
Well,
needed.
We have different experiences, but
Right.
but I've seen, generally speaking, most of the brand new players that I've had end up coming up with stuff that strains the rules.
Fair enough.
I haven't seen. There are quiet people who are going to be quiet, who are going to be in
Right.
the background. But if you're, taking shyness aside and things like that, I haven't seen people act like this. This to me sounds like someone who is expecting one thing and getting something else.
See, I
this-
don't get that at all.
like someone who
don't
plays
either.
Skyrim and is used to people making you an errand boy and giving you a specific thing to do.
Could be.
I think
Because-
with
get,
Joey,
I get brand
Yeah.
new player. I get
too.
someone because I agree that because most games I play with new people, they
Yeah.
are very much like I can do that. Like what do I do? Like you can do anything. You kind of lead them, and eventually they'll do things to
Yep.
push the limits.
Right.
But my group is really good, especially if it's a friend of ours who talked about gaming before and they want to try it out. We're very accepting. We're very there for them. This sounds like it is an established group who's been playing for
Yep.
years, and now even though you're roommates with the guy, you're still the new guy.
It's-
And so you're finding your
Yeah.
place. You're finding if you're not an experienced role player and can't hang, like that can be very very daunting, and you might be kind of like
That's true. That's true.
And
I
think
mean,
about how you-
especially if you got an established group that have been playing for a very long time.
They're not because they're not being unwelcoming. They're just not being forthcoming. And
Well,
role
and
players.
He's got
Yeah, exactly.
proximity. So is he playing because he's the roommate and he's like, sure, I'll play, versus
It
somebody
could be like
who's
the reluctant girlfriend
Yeah.
scenario.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
This guy also
Exactly.
could be having fun,
Yeah.
hanging out with
Yeah.
a bunch of role players
Absolutely.
and laughing his ass off.
Absolutely.
Because like my group are fucking badasses. Like I love them, and I can just let them go. Like I don't need to give them story hooks because they're just gonna do shit.
Yeah.
And so I got a new person like this one here who's just kind of like, I don't know what to do, still having fun.
Right.
And so
Yep.
this person, he's still like, having fun.
It also could be a table dynamic thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you got people like real like story wrench throwers like Stork. No, seriously.
Oh man, I miss playing with Stork so much.
If you have a table and you have 2 or 3 of those guys, there's not enough oxygen for a quiet player to breathe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh man, playing with Stork and Claire and me. Oh man. I don't know. Did Kimmy ever get to say anything?
No, no, she did not. She's gotten better.
I believe you.
And during the vampire game, at one point, she was a prince.
Nice.
Yes, for a while.
Fuck yeah.
And then her character was killed.
Well, we've
So proud.
little babies all grown up. Yeah. We've talked about this before, though. Some people, that's all they want out of the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely. People
Yeah.
want
So
different
he
things.
might be okay.
Yeah.
So unless
Maybe
he's
just
killing
ask
it.
him.
Just check in.
Ask
Check in
him.
with him.
Yeah.
You live with him. Just pull him aside. Hey,
Yeah.
everything good? Like, is your character like? I'm kind of getting a feeling that maybe your character's being neglected. I don't want. Is there anything you're missing from the game?
Well,
Is there anything
if he's been throwing on plot complications on
Yeah.
top
Oh, I
of
know,
them,
but you still might want to come at it instead.
I
of,
would suggest stop doing that.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
Don't pun-
and definitely don't just punish him. Period.
No.
No, but
Unless he's into that. I mean, this guy kind of reminds me of like the guy who's standing at the back of the room of the orgy, and it was like, "You doing okay?" It's like, "I'm doing fine.
this is totally what I'm here for.
I got this. This is rad. Do you want to be in there? Nope."
That is so
Okay.
vivid and accurate. I can't handle it.
No, but that's
That's exactly it.
That's
That is
exactly it,
exactly it.
yeah.
I would totally dive in, but I don't want to take off my shirt.
Yeah. Right? You're too uncomfortable, and they're okay with you being where you are.
Right. They're just
So
happy to
just
be
hang
included.
out. Yeah, I'm happy to be in the room. I don't, and once in a
However-
while I might get somebody some water.
yeah.
Right? That's okay.
However-
That's all I need to do.
Sometimes
The orgy team mom
Yeah.
with water and orange slices.
You gotta have one.
No, but you might want to show him what he's missing and kind of.
Well, he knows what
Reel
he's
him in.
missing. He's there. He's watching it.
Right.
If you propose something in character that's like, you could do this or you could do this. What's your, and this is your impulse.
It still sounds like it.
Yeah.
Of like, the ghoul is driven by the supernatural desire for it. It's like, you feel
Yeah.
like you want to do
Yeah.
this. It's like, no, I don't. Well, okay,
Yep.
you have to resist it. No, I don't want to roll that because I wouldn't want that. So it
Yeah.
sounds like just shutting down, getting onto the bed.
yeah.
Right? So it's like, I don't want to take my shirt off.
Right.
And if he doesn't want to take his shirt off, I think this metaphor is perfect.
It really is.
It really
Like
is.
I'm like this mad at it because I didn't come up with it first. Like, this mad.
That's awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go.
So they go Don and Pittsburgh.
There you go, Don Pittsburgh. You have an orgy and you have somebody watching, and everybody's cool with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Let him keep his shirt on.
Let him keep his shirt on.
It might be the wrong playbook.
Yeah,
It might-
it might be the wrong
It might
playbook.
be.
Yeah. But
Might-
that's okay.
But you
Is
can
there-
always
If-
transfer
if
the
he's
person
having
to
fun.
a ghost.
Yeah.
Is there a fat
Yeah.
kid playbook?
Yes.
Okay.
No, because I'm like, what? No, that's true.
Oh wait, Stu's the only one with cans. Damn it.
How fun is it to play the mortal, though?
Oh
And
yeah,
that's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
my
The more
favorite
fun.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, he might actually like that.
Oh,
'cause
no,
then
'cause
he's
you-
totally the outsider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, but the
my
mortal is
God, the
also
mortal.
like the damsel in distress.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
well,
you're
you forgive
the
your
bait.
abusive boyfriend for being a monster.
Right.
And, oh my God, I love
Oh
the
man,
mortal.
that's too fucking real.
I know, I love
Too
it.
fucking real.
You know,
I
I gotta
love
play this
it.
game because I'm all.
It's so
I've never
good.
played.
You've never played?
I've never
Okay,
played.
Oh
we're
my
gonna
God.
do this. We're gonna do this.
Oh well, what's his name? Adam? Is it Adam? The guy that runs the
Yeah.
the guy that runs the Monster of the Week game.
Yeah.
Is it Adam? Mm-hmm. He wants to run one, and there's a lot of interest in running a Monster Hearts game.
Well, and I heard through the grapevine while I was gone that we're cool with the kicking off the
Saturdays, not this
Right.
Obviously not,
Not
this
this
weekend
month.
and not next
Yeah.
weekend. After
But like
that,
February.
get with Kimmy because she's got something she wants to do once a month. But
Yeah.
other than that,
And it looked like
Saturdays are
third,
open.
so I might
Sweet.
try to grab second and fourth and do like Sprawl and Monster Hearts.
That'd be cool.
There's a lot of interest
Tears and kisses.
amongst our pool
Yeah.
of people to
No,
do
that would
Monster
be
I
Hearts.
will
awesome.
play Monster Hearts.
Yeah, I'd
Yes,
be in.
please.
I will totally play
you
Monster
have to be
Hearts.
in Monster Hearts.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
like 24 people have said hi, Tappy.
Hey, everybody. It's been a long time since those days.
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
Right, that's it. That's it. We're at
No.
an hour. I
What?
can't believe we had a Tappy show with it's only an hour and a half long.
Oh, well, I can totally talk more. I was intentionally keeping it down. We totally got 2 more hours
We
in
didn't
me.
do the what did you play last week? Did anybody
Oh.
play? Did you play?
Well, actually, I didn't play. I was working on. Okay, so I'm working on my new Apocalypse World. I'm working on 2 Apocalypse World.
Are you doing an Apocalypse
serious?
hack too?
I love Apocalypse World because
Mm-hmm.
Apocalypse World hack is play to see what happens.
Right.
That's what I love. You know this.
Yeah.
And so there's 2 of them that I'm working on. One is just Necromunda, which is super easy. Just use
Really?
Apocalypse
Yeah.
in a bullshit 40K world.
Right.
Like you didn't even need to change anything.
40K is ridiculous.
But
The
the
setting is ridiculous.
yeah, setting's just fucking crazy. But the one that I really want to do is Apocalypse World, but it's like 500 or 600 years after the apocalypse in like a Dark Ages.
Oh, cool.
But the apocalypse was a Shadowrun type world. So it was like cybernetics, elves, dwarves, shit like that.
Yeah.
So now and also magic and other bullshit. So now you're 600, 700, you don't know how many years later, and the spirits and totems have created bodies for themselves out of the bones of the old world. So you have a bear that is made of like rusted bullshit
Have you ever seen
and
Iron Edda?
no.
Okay. That's not this, but it's
But you also have you have regular animals, and then you have these herds of mechanical wolves and shit like that.
Yep.
And so like the chopper, instead of riding motorcycles, they ride wolves.
Awesome.
And the driver, instead of riding a car, is riding a totem, which could be a bear with 2 heads and 4 arms with the fucking like missile launcher on its back.
Cool.
Because it's all magic.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's still that same type of feel of trying to eke a living out of what's up.
Hive Mind says, "Oh no, Tappy, that's Numenera. No."
Fuck that. Because it's.
But I hear it's beautiful.
It's trying to eke a living out of this world that fucking hates you. Like the spirits that have these mechanical bodies, as well as the mutated fucking animals that exist, that want you dead. They don't want to have anything to do with you. And so, but it's not, instead of desert everywhere, it's like forest and jungle and bullshit. I also want to have like mechanical giant ground sloths.
Absolutely. Yeah.
or T-Rexes and shit like that. Like that is, yes, exactly. So that's my idea.
Wow,
And also,
now they're going off on Numenera.
Oh my god.
Well, and it's reminding me of touch points would be like the 100. Have you seen the 100? Yeah.
Nah.
And like Iron Edda and but that would be cool.
Cool. I will check those things out for source
I know.
material.
Yeah. Well,
But
the 100 is totally beautiful. WB.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Teenagers.
Having already
20s,
run an Apocalypse World game that was so good. Oh my god, it was so good. I don't want to run another Mad Max game, but I want to run another game of bullshit in a world that hates you.
Right.
And so, and all of these enclaves of people trying to do stuff because, well, I know it, right? Because you got those 5 things that you're trying to get.
Right.
So if you're like a biker gang, you don't have food security, you don't have a fresh sense of water. So there are all these places where the characters are weak that you can push on to make them do things, or not really make
Drive
them do
story,
things. They want
right.
to do stuff, yeah. So that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about this magical elf future bullshit game.
Cool.
And then the other games that I want to run, that's the L5R and the
The court game.
The
That's
court
like-
game.
Yeah, that sounds so
The
bad.
court game
That
sounds
sounds
great,
amazing.
and the Shadowrun game.
Yeah.
Right.
So I do a lot
Yeah.
of prep. I do a lot of world building, and I don't write story.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it takes me fucking like 6 months to a year because I'm super ADD to
Really?
get a game together. You know this. They might not know this.
In Moment of Truth news,
Yeah.
I got the manuscript back from the editor proofreader, and I'm now typesetting it. I'm typesetting it myself. I went and got InDesign, and I've got a book, and I've been reading it because I used to do layout and design a long time ago when I worked at McDonnell Douglas, and so I'm doing the layout myself, and it's about 70% done. I'll probably have it done in a week or so, and then if you're a Patreon subscriber, I will post the PDF once it's done. There's zero artwork because it's just the game mechanics. It's no setting whatsoever.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
Because you've been working on that for a long time.
4 or 5 years.
Are you
Wow,
still?
nice. Well done.
Yes.
Are you still working on?
I've been working on it since before they invented dice.
Back when you're fighting off velociraptors.
Right. I'm sorry, what were we saying?
No, the setting books.
It's a toss-up which will be the first one to come out.
Okay.
It's either it will either be Vast Dominions, which is the dirigibles in space where there's space has a down. Do you remember that?
I fucking love that. Yeah, I remember
Big Blue
that.
Monkeys from Outer
Yeah,
Space.
I remember that game. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Or it's going to be Bloodblade and Tusk, which is before the Norman invasion, before the Crusades. Orcs dig themselves up in the middle of France
I like that
and
setting
take
a lot.
over a big chunk of the Holy Roman Empire.
That's fucking right.
Right?
Holy shit.
It's pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
So there's the church and Inquisition starting.
Right. And fucking motherfucking orcs.
with shaman who know magic, who teach it to people.
Oh, wow. So what, like, around like 1100? 1000? So you have heavy cavalry, but not really heavy cavalry that we think of.
No.
Like, they've got, like, chainmail and shit.
Right. No, plate mail, it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Right. And a very powerful church that has basically declared all of these inhuman things to be demons
Yeah.
Right.
from the infernal regions.
Yeah.
So, and that I've been reading a lot about
Exterminatus Traitoris.
Exterminatus Traitoris. No,
That's what they
no
are.
Warhammer. No, there's no Warhammer. I've been reading a lot about the church in the whatever era of the Middle Ages that is.
Yeah, no, that was fascinating because you and I talked about that a bunch of times, like just doing research.
I found a fantastic book specifically about like this 200-year period and what the church was like during it, because that's heavily influences the game.
No, that's awesome.
Anyway, what were you saying?
There's a game, Darklands, that's about that. That's it's a PC game from like 1995.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
super
awesome.
fun.
Cool.
You can get it for like $1.90
Aw.
Okay.
I did
Excellent.
not know this game.
on
So-
goodoldgames.com.
I'm going to guess before I'm going to give myself some pad before the end of February. The Patreon subscribers will have Moment of Truth in their hands. I don't know if I'm going to add artwork later or not. I don't know if. What do you think? Do I need to add artwork? Because it's just game mechanics. There's zero setting.
Okay, so I have a lot of PDFs, like metric fuck ton
Sure.
of PDFs, and I don't care about artwork. I really don't need it. In a book, I think an artwork is nice. I think artwork is nice, and
In a physical book.
and having like maybe a section of art. Like I have a good friend who does art for cards and shit like that. And that's great to visualize the characters and the setting,
Right.
etc. But
I would almost just
there's
think
very little in
yeah.
Apocalypse World, and I can
Yeah.
do just fine.
Oh,
Or if you
almost none. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a little bit in the beginning of the
Yeah, and it's
playbooks,
all
that's it.
black and super contrasty black and white.
Right. It's all like
So-
Yep.
ink drawings.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, I don't really think you need it.
No, I could
Not
see
that art is bad.
for chapter like chapters.
Oh yeah, like headings.
I
Just
have
so that you can kind
the way
of
I have it
represent
laid out.
your
There's a bunch of
orcs
white space over every chapter start
Yeah.
page, so I can put like a splash image
Yep.
there. But
Yep.
then I have to go out and find those. And
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't Kickstarter this, and I'm giving it away.
You could though.
And I just went and paid an editor.
That's fucking rad. That's
Yeah.
fucking rad. You know, you
Yeah.
could, but
Yeah.
you didn't because
No, I
you're a
didn't.
badass.
Well, I was able to afford the editor,
Right.
so
Yeah. Well, it's your hobby. It's something you want to do.
Yeah.
And it's good to give back to your community.
yes. Well, my and where I'm going to hit them
There it is.
is with the setting books.
God damn it, Stu. God damn it! I gave you the benefit of the doubt.
the first taste
I gave you.
is
I gave you the benefit of the doubt.
You haven't gone a long time, haven't you?
yeah. It's good to give it back to the community.
I love you, Stu.
But the other thing is,
I've truly missed out hanging with you. It is good to see
the
you.
other thing is, if anyone wants to make a setting for it, they can just make a setting for it and publish it and sell it and do whatever they want with it. I don't
Right.
care. So, but yeah, I am going to put it. It's going to be free eventually, and I'm going to put it on as a pay what you want thing on drive-through. So, I want to have artwork for the cover, and I don't know what
definitely.
artwork I want to use yet. I have artwork that someone did for me, but I'm looking at it. I'm like, I don't know if I want that now.
Well, and
In the game when
you
earlier
know
it was,
You know artists.
Yes.
You got a lot of artist friends. Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
some.
You
Yeah.
should totally make them work for free.
Exploit.
I can offer them food.
Yeah.
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 It's-
You can trade them exposure. I heard that's a currency that artists love.
Yes, they do. So, in fact, so do musicians.
no.
That and free beer.
Yeah. Musicians love exposure. You can go to the store and give them your exposure tickets.
Right,
and they'll
it's like
give you
Bitcoin.
food. Yeah. Oh man.
I'm going to make my own fiat currency called exposure. I got a printer. All right, let's call it.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us for season 21, episode 1 of Happy Jack's RPG Podcast. My name is Stu.
This is Tappy.
This is Gina.
This is Joey.
And thank you very much for joining us and the triumphant return of Tappy. And are you back on again?
Yeah, sure.
All right, excellent.
Fuck yeah.
And don't forget, we got a game convention coming up February 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th, LAX Hilton Hotel. Join us there. And we'll see you next Friday. This Saturday, we're starting Vampire the Dark Ages game. Sunday. And then there's other games during the week. And then the next Sunday, we're starting the L5R FFG thing. We'll see how that works out. Thank you very much, and we'll leave you with a song.
To you, fair maid, you tending your flock. What brings you so early unto this green spot? My father's in the field and he's waiting for me. Call the owls to the nows, Molly and me. Call the owls to the nows, Molly and me. My father's a shepherd herding sheep on the hill. If you get his sanction, I'll be at your will. And if he does grant it, then right glad I'll be. Call the owls to the nows, Molly and me. Call the owls to the nows, Molly and me. Good morning to you, old man, you're counting your flock. Could you spare me a ewe lamb for to keep up my stock? And grass for to feed her on yonder green lea. Call the owls to the nows, Molly and me. Call the owls to the nows, Molly and me. Gang down to yon burn side and choose and grass for to feed her on yonder green lea. Call the owls to the nows, Molly and me. Call the owls to the nows, Molly and me. So Tommy stepped forward, caught Molly by the hand, and right for her father this couple did stand, saying, this is the ewe lamb that I asked from thee. Call the owls to the nows, Molly and me. Call the owls to the nows, Molly and me. Oh Tommy, it's me you beguiled. I sure did not think that you meant my own child, and since I have said it, well then let it be. Call the owls to the nows, Molly and me. Call the owls to the nows, Molly and me. Call the owls to the nows, Molly and me.
The preceding program has been a presentation of the Angry Folk Media Empire.
Why problem make when you no problem have, you don't want to make?